people of Papua New Guinea. We, for the last 4 or 5 attempts of this vote of no confidence, I called upon the people of Papua New Guinea to be patient, that things will be corrected and done, and eventually we have come to that day. And so let me first of all thank those members in our team, the alternate Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, Peter O'Neill, Deputy Opposition Leader, the member for Hill Koyari, Honorable Kit Idu, and the team that we assembled together to work on fixing the VoNC motion to get it correct, including Chris Haiveta. They've worked tirelessly in the last few days, weeks, to make certain that we got the motion correct. And I want to thank them for their tireless efforts to make certain that there's no flaws on the VoNC motion. Having said that, we have all heard that the VoNC is now on the notice paper. And now that it is on the notice paper, the leader of government business, after moving on the floor of Parliament to adjourn Parliament to the 12th, he has mentioned that the VoNC is now, Parliament is now adjourned to entertain the VoNC. So we'll be in camp for the next 7 days to make certain that we meet the requirements of the VoNC. And so we have seen on the floor of Parliament that the government tried its best by seeing if they have the numbers. And so they brought in a bill, the Christian bill. And again, the Christian bill has failed. Though it was 73, we had most of our opposition members who also rose to support the bill. And so the government did not have the 73 like it was shown on the floor of Parliament today. Opposition also contributed to that 73. And so with the failure of the bill today, in the Westminster system, the Prime Minister cannot continue to adjourn the bill for next sitting day. The Prime Minister should see that bill has failed a second time and he should resign. And so with the VoNC on foot now, I as the opposition leader and the alternate who's standing with me, and all these powerful leaders who are with us and those in the conference room, would like to invite our brothers on the other side and sisters. This is the time for change. And later the alternate will say a few words. But he's made it very clear in there that bring the numbers and the discussion is on the table. Our discussions are on the table. We will now manage the process of the VoNC. It is an ongoing progress work, and so we will now, as a team, manage the VoNC motion going forward to next week Thursday. I would like to encourage our friends on the other side that this money you blow kisimia DSIP, na PIP, na whatever project funds. That is your money. That is the people's money. You know, money blow one plantation and blow kisimia. It is people's money. And if you come over here, and we change this government, we'll do things correctly. The country is in a pushing. The country is at the stage of so much struggle, so much pain. The treasurer on the floor of Parliament yesterday said, the country is okay. Is the country really okay? You just have to walk down the streets and ask people on the streets and they'll tell you the country is in turmoil. The country is in struggle. You just have to go to one of the supermarkets, one of the shops, and you realize that price of goods 3 months ago have changed overnight. And so the treasurer can come up with all the good words and try to put the best flowers on the table. But down there, it's still the same story. The people are struggling. And so we are calling on our brothers on the other side and sister on the other side. You black up. You black up. Knocking potatoes and you black up and you miss out from with your DSIPs and your PIPs and your project funds. When you come over to this side, we'll do things correctly by the budget books. And our people of Papua New Guinea will begin to see that will ease their pains. Why do I say this? I say this with confidence because we have just launched our alternate policies. And you all have seen our policies. Our policy number one is to fix this country. Our policy number one is to fix this country. How do we fix it? Go back and see our policies. We have outlined very clearly that when we take over government, the first 100 days will be to work on recovery plan for this country. And so I am calling upon our brothers on the other side, party leaders on the other side, open eye, na harim karai, blow people, blow Papua New Guinea. Members of parliament on the other side, open ear, open heart blue flag, na open eye blue flag, and na harim karai, blow people, blow Papua New Guinea. You listen to your people who have voted for you. And this is the call from the opposition side, the alternate government, to change the course of this nation. Thank you. I'll ask the alternate to say a few words.
Thank you, opposition leader. Thank the media team who's here. Firstly, before I say anything, I want to thank the member for Medang, who was recently returned from his court battle and has been reinstated as a member of parliament. And instead of staying in government and thinking about the issues that his district has been facing for the last 2 years, he's made a very brave decision to join opposition and come out clear about the issues in this country. So I want to just place on record my personal thank you to his bravery and his courage that is showing some of our members in government who can take such actions to speak about issues. Also on the note, I thank the former Minister for Health, the good member for Wabek, Honorable Dr. Tom Lino, who has resigned from his ministry as Health Minister. A very good performing Health Minister who has just made statements that he can no longer tolerate what is happening in government and has decided to move out of government and be part of this team to change the course of this nation. So I want to place on record both of these incredible, strong, brave, courageous men who have made the national and patriotic call for us to come together in this cause. So to all those leaders, we welcome them inside, but just in front of the media. When you are looking for bravery and courage and you're appealing to other members, I also want to thank the members who have portrayed such strong attributes and leadership by making bold decisions and moving to the opposition side. So in the likes of the two members who joined us. Like the OLSL already, motion has gone through. I want to place on record also my thank you to Secretary Saiveta, the OL himself, Deputy Opposition Leader, Keith, Honorable Keith, and a few others who were instrumental in putting together the vote of no confidence motion paper, and it has gone through that PBC committee, and now we have adjourned Parliament. Our discussions now are to engage with our friends on this side and how we can strategize and work with our members on the other side. Like Owen has been saying, a lot of issues that confront us are issues that they see as well. They are not blind. They can hear as well. They are part of constituencies that face these difficulties that we face and see, and we are speaking about it. They can see it. I think the challenge for them is finding the conviction and the courage to make those decisions. And we urge those leaders, for the benefit of our country, to come forward and for us to package together what can be a new government. We're not saying every policy that we're putting through, like Owell said, when we launched the alternate policies in Crown, that it is a living document, which means that some of our friends might have some better ideas, better policies that we can package, stitch together, and we are providing a team. Now let me say that when I must thank the opposition in having confidence in putting me as the alternate, which simply in my view means I'm the team player, lead team player for all of these incredible men and two women who are part of these 35 members forming a very solid opposition team. So as a team player, now that the game is started, we will continue to engage with like-minded leaders in the government side, whether it could be ministers, party leaders, backbenchers, aggrieved members who see those issues but they're not able to speak. How do we continue to connect those dots and bring a collective, like-minded leaders together, and we can form a new government, God willing. So to the nation, I think VoNC is not something that I am pushing for, the deputy opposition leader or anyone. It's a democratic process envisioned in our constitution by our forefathers to vent issues on the floor. It's better that we speak and challenge government on the floor than the people taking to the streets and protesting and demanding for changes. We elected leaders must say what they cannot say, and this is a process that gives us that opportunity to exercise that government is not doing what it should be doing, and we need to hold the government accountable. So, as I said, we have a very strong team led by our opposition leader. Now with the two inclusion of a very strong leaders in the likes of Honorable Brian Kramer, who was former minister in 2 or 3 different capacities, and in the Deputy OL, the former health minister, we are comfortable that we can now pack it together. Let me place on record that Osam OL Toka, Nikisem nominees and private something Luminogai. It is me, them nominating me as a team leader for our team, and to package our team together. So we will appeal to our leaders on the government side, coalition partners, even in Pangu Party, who find resemblance and they can, associate and relate with those issues. So I want to thank everyone here presented in this front, member for Boilala, and Honorable Keith as well, one of our smartest in the, who has been instrumental in packaging together the VoNC motion, the Vice Minister for Civil Aviation, Honorable Brian Kramer as well, and our good opposition leader has been doing a tremendous job in holding our teams together. Let me close by saying that PNG, now you missed up the crossroad, a plenty issue confronting Uni. What I don't understand is that this has been an exercise for the last 6 months, when it started with the opposition and some of us left government and joined, and now a few have come. The issues are still there. The question is, why isn't government found solutions to fix them? If they fix those issues, we will be talking less on this side, because issues are fixed. You talk about fuel, inflation, all these issues. Why doesn't government fix them? Now, people are commenting on social media everywhere saying that opposition are talking too much. That's our job to talk, because the people who have power to fix them are not fixing them. And it's been months. If we just fix those issues, I think we'll have less material to attack the government on the floor when it comes to questions. So, time on man comment that, opposition to plan too much. Who will speak on behalf of you? And the issues are real. The issues are so real. It's not politics. When all the members continue to raise issues on the floor, it's not issues that we are conjuring up because we want to be in a new government or we want to be ministers or prime ministers, but the issues are so real that we have to speak. But the question is the government listening? If they're listening, why they're not actioning it and finding solutions to fix those problems? I want to end by one simple issue. Law and order. PNG is becoming very unsafe. You look at the statistics globally. If you look at the crime rates around the world, we are listed second next to Venezuela. So when you talk about tourism, who wants to come to PNG when you just Google it up and it finds that PNG is listed second unsafe country in the world, highest crime rate in the world. So tourism will not come. Investors, when they look at it, these are sort of the indicators that are giving a bad perception and image to government. So when they don't fix law and order and all these issues, our job in the opposition and like-minded leaders, our job is to question, persist, pressure these leaders who must see this issue and walk across and join us so that we can package together a government and policies that we can be able to try to solve. So, we finish Namito. Suppose government looking at this issue, why have they not solved it? Law and order issue is just, you don't have to go to Finsafem or Taripori to find those issues. Walk to Gorens Market. Are you safe? You're not safe in Gorens Market. This is the heart of Port Moresby. So if you're not safe in Port Moresby, imagine Finsafem or Taripori or Medeng or Bulolo. It's going worse. So what has the government done about it? Nothing to this day. So that's why we are putting up a challenge to us like-minded leaders. You're seeing the issues. confronted, be bold, like few of the leaders who have confronted and walked out. You won't lose anything. You won't die if you lose your ministry. You won't die if you lose your PIP. But you'll be classified as a leader who's able to make those very strong decisions.
Yeah, yeah.
I call on our leaders on the other side. You mean like forming government or changing course to a country? Okay, be strong enough, be brave enough. It's not the first time people have left government and walked out. Definitely you're not coming on this side. The Honorable Sassi said it's a graveyard on this side. No, we are still living, we are still moving, and we are being in opposition. So it's not a bad place to be. So find the courage to make the call, and let's stitch together a new government if God wills it so. With that, all, thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Opposition Leader. Thank you also the Alternative Prime Minister nominee, Honorable Paita, the Honourable Member for Medang. I thank you also for taking a bold step in following your convictions. And that is a word I'd like to labour a little bit, convictions. This is a time when a pressure valve placed in the constitution of our country, where members of parliament representing the people of this country to exercise a deliberate judgment on conscience, where if the country is being led or run in a particular fashion that is not akin to the values that we all stand for, then this is an opportunity for members of parliament representing our people to exercise that privilege. And so a group of us have come together sharing our values and our thinking and our beliefs that if the government is not performing in the way that it should be, this is where we exercise that privilege. Yesterday was a day when a number of debates were presented, but today alone, where the government or the Prime Minister sponsors a constitutional amendment to come through whatever subject it might be. Today was on a purported effort to declare Papua New Guinea a Christian nation. This is not the first time it was done, but the second attempt. Always, on both occasions, numbers do not muster up to pass this bill. In any Westminster system, a constitutional proposition such as this, failing, would mean the Prime Minister should resign. A well-minded, recent, objective Prime Minister would actually understand that as a lack of confidence in these ideas that he brings forward. In this case, a group of leaders still think that this proposition is redundant. It's redundant because it's already enshrined in the Constitution, declaring us a Christian nation, that with value systems, universal enough, but pointing towards the belief of Christianity. Christianity must be practiced. Our people should not be fed by rhetoric anymore. They should be fed with deeds, real Christian deeds, not Christian rhetoric. Because it is such behavior that gives a bad repute to the gospel of Jesus Christ. Not in a couple of days' time, that the Pope will be arriving. You can only wonder what that will mean. It's a very serious subject, and I think I would dare not debate it or discuss it. But I think suffices to say, two attempts at pushing this amendment forward, constitutional amendment forward, failing, should be resounding message that there is no confidence in this government and these major bills that they bring. So it goes on. I mean, like I said, it's a very, very sensitive issue, and I will not labor it anymore. But what I should say this also, yesterday, interestingly, and a debate was gagged on a Central Banking Act, and I think I should just comment very shortly on that. I'm no economist, and I don't really understand many of these things, but what's important is this. The independence of the central bank is to ensure that it manages the monetary policy of the nation. The fiscal policy of the nation is one of government, NEC, to manage through the treasury. The amendment yesterday, whilst there were discussions about the price stability and many other cosmetic changes to the central banking, what was glaring and was not properly debated or discussed was the proposition that a monetary policy committee would be set up in the central bank. The monetary policy committee would be then subjected to the jurisdiction of the treasurer, responsible for the fiscal policy of the nation. Basically, the treasurer or the minister for treasury would then have dual roles to provide oversight and scrutiny even on the monetary policy. What's also glaring also, we should note from that particular debate, was the fact that the treasurer did say in his speech that these interventions imposed on them, on the government by the IMF. Now, if that is if these are results brought forward by external forces, were we not already discussing inflation and interventions imposed by the IMF? That we now subject this country's sovereignty and this country's monetary policy to external forces again. This is the actual reasoning why leaders in Papua New Guinea have basically had enough of being puppets. Why are we subjecting ourselves to puppeteering of external forces like the IMF? You can only begin to wonder. The question should be, is this amendment going to reduce the price of rice and tin fish for ordinary moms and dads? Is it going to reduce or stabilize the forex issue and supply? Is it going to reduce the demand on the or increase the demand of the kina from and bring in more foreign direct investment? These are the pertinent questions we should be asking ourselves when we go to Parliament to pass bills. And this is why, most disappointed, the debate was not allowed. We should have debated that bill yesterday. I believe if this government takes over, it would be one of our major reforms to really look at this sort of interventions brought at such late hours. When people are busy about the votes of no confidence, the treasurer sees fit to slide in major adjustments to the legal regime concerning our currency, concerning governance of our central bank, and therefore watering down the independence of the central bank. That is a very serious matter of concern that people of Papua New Guinea should be worried about. And whilst it may sound abstract, fact of the matter, it will not change or reduce the price of rice and tin fish. It will not reduce the demand for school fees. It will not create any employment so that we can have ability. It was purported to provide relief for 1,485 families. This is a country of 10 to 15 million people. What is 1,458 people's relief going to do? It's negligible. Negligible. So this is the opportunity. We have 7 days. I also appeal to our good members of parliament on the government side. Thinking more land look less. Or land was telling me come long, providing leadership long. You must think more. Make him something like good bloody shit. How go on? I want them something. Budgets, DSIP and PAP are matters of the national budget. It's a bill. It's law. It's right now. Right now, people doing me kissing. No different prime minister. No, not this prime minister. Nor the next one should dictate or weaponize the budget. Budget and you got to vote him. You support him. It's your entitlement. If it's in the capital works budget, PIP, that your district should get this much, it should get it. It's a matter of course subject to cash flow. But you're not getting it because the economy is very poorly managed, and therefore there is no cash flow in the till to provide for you. This government has plans to avoid that and to manage this even better for you, for our people. But in this, let me thank you, Mr. Prime Minister nominee and the opposition leader, members of Parliament, for giving us the opportunity to speak at this time. In terms of land, we have an intervention that we have introduced through our alternative policies. And I didn't finish my debate yesterday, but what's important is the formalization of land tenure in this country will increase the threshold of the economy. Right now, our economy is written on the back of 4% of the land that is available through state leases, a formalization through clans and our people, and by giving increasing threshold for the economic activity of the nation. It will attract more foreign investment. It will provide a more secure, stable fiscal regime for our people, and will provide an opportunity for people of Papua New Guinea to work the land. Because every time, you go looking member we're talking, go now, making a cacao garden, and you look at you. Well, how can I do that if you're not giving me the opportunity to bring an asset to the bank to give me access to credit so I can do business just like anybody else? How can I feed my family? These reforms that we are bringing up, whilst they are radical, and got the opportunity, giving a land, moms and dads, place, participate in the economy of the country. So we're not just focusing on the public service and Port Moresby and Ley and Hagen. We are focusing the entire nation is going to participate in the growth of this country. These reforms. These are very major interventions. It's been done before in many other countries, and I do not see why Papua New Guinea continues to borrow money. If we do this, we will not need to borrow anymore. If we just do this properly and do it quickly. Thank you once again for that opportunity. Thank you, media.
Thank you. Before we get questions, I'll ask the member for Madam to say a few words.
Thank you, Opposition Leader. I'll keep it short. I believe I've made clear my reasons for why I resigned from the government. I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of the member for Dinshapen and the alternative Prime Minister nominee that has been put forward by the opposition, and also other fellow members of the opposition that are here for this press conference. I'd just like to speak about today's session of Parliament, in where the proposed constitutional amendment by the government was actually rejected or failed to reach the required 79 votes. So being a constitutional amendment, the Constitution requires that 79 votes must be supported before that amendment will pass through. It was the third vote. I didn't have the privilege of being here during the debate of the first and second reading. The Constitution requires a 2-month period between the second reading and the third reading for the purposes of the members of Parliament can go back and people can discuss this issue before a final vote is brought. Now, I was the Minister for Justice, and I do recall bringing that submission to Cabinet. It was the Prime Minister's submission, and it was a bill that he brought to Parliament. And after hearing debates for the persons like Alan Bird and Karinga Kua, and their issues, that they actually said that they spoke with the mainline churches, Catholic churches, and were advised that they had issues concerning this bill, to try and get the government to declare a country a Christian country. So we don't need a government to declare something to be Christian. We don't have those powers. So today I was actually quite shocked that the government thought it was appropriate to suspend standing orders, because under the standing orders today is private members' bill. Every member knows this. So it's a designated priority for private members' bills today. They instead use their numbers to suspend the standing orders without notice and bring forward the third vote on the amendment to the Constitution, declaring Papua New Guinea a Christian country. I thought it was both reckless and irresponsible. Essentially, my view is they were using it to grandstand on the eve of the Pope's visit, and using matters of church in matters of politics going into the vote of no confidence, and to challenge the opposition to see whether we would support this amendment at this time. And I, as I said earlier in my previous press statements, left the government on moral principles. So I opposed voting in support of, I opposed the bill being passed, this amendment, because there was no proper intention in bringing that bill at this time. I'm certain that the Prime Minister would have just grandstanded on this issue by saying we passed the bill declaring Papua New Guinea a Christian country, which he could shake the Pope's hand and say, yes, we are a Christian country, and feel great about it. But a Christian country is a saying in the Bible. When the righteous rule, the people rejoice. And when the wicked rule, the people suffer. Papua New Guinea is suffering. Declaring us a Christian nation on the constitution, a piece of paper, is not going to get us to rejoice. So for that reason, a few members of the opposition abstained and did not vote. There were a few of us that voted against it, and there's a few that voted for it because I wasn't able to have that discussion of whether they should vote for it or not because they voted it without any notice. So I just want to explain to members of the public of why the vote, some of us of the opposition didn't vote and some did, and I'm glad it didn't go through. So that's, I understand, the second time that it's failed. I think the Prime Minister should actually go and sit down with the actual churches, mainline churches, and actually get their view before trying to make politicians decide what is Christian and what is not Christian. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Before we get into questions, you can see there are 6 of us standing here. It does not mean that the 35 are not in support of us. Okay, we are all one team. We've been asked by the caucus to come and represent the caucus. We are a solid team. Nothing will break us. So suppose you play think or some one play by run away, get the story and go and ask the team on the other side. We are solid and we are ready to change government. One more. The member for Medan has rightfully mentioned it. Okay. If the government was serious of passing this bill, they should have come with their numbers. They did not have their numbers. The 73 that was on the floor was because the members of the opposition did vote for it. I don't think the government was serious with this bill. They're just trying to play some political game on the floor of Parliament today. Let us have some questions, please.